Welcome to Module 2.4, Component Props and State. In React, components can receive and manage data through props and state. Understanding the distinction between props and state is crucial, as they are the key to building dynamic and interactive user interfaces. 1. Props properties. What are props? Props, short for properties, are a mechanism for passing data from a parent component to a child component. They allow you to customize and make components dynamic by providing them with data and configuration. Props are read-only and cannot be modified by the child component that receives them. 2. Passing props. To pass props to a component, you specify them as attributes in the JSX when rendering the component. For example, my component name equals John, age equals 30 per. In this example, name and age are props passed to the my component. 3. Accessing props. Within the component that receives props, you can access them through the props object. For example, function my component props return div pname props.name p ph props age p div 4 state. What is state? State is a mechanism for a component to maintain and manage its own data. It allows components to have dynamic, interactive behavior. Unlike props, state is mutable, and a component can change its own state. 5. Initializing state. To initialize state in a class component, you define a state property within the component's constructor. For functional components, you can use the useState hook to manage state. Here's an example of a class component with state. Class counter extends React component constructor props super props this state equals count 0. 6. Updating state. To update the state of a component, you use the setState method for class components or the state updater function returned by useState. For functional components, state updates trigger array render of the component to reflect the new state. For class components, this .setStateCount, this .state.count plus 1. For functional components with the useState hook, const count, setCount equals useState 0, setCount count plus 1. 7. Array rendering on state change. React automatically array renders the component when its state changes. This means that the UI can dynamically update based on the component's state. 8. State in functional components. Functional components can use the useState hook to manage state. The useState hook returns an array with two elements, the current state value and a function to update the state. Const count, setCount equals useState 0. 9. Props versus state. Props are used to pass data from parent to child components, while state is used to manage a component's own data. Props are immutable read-only. While state is mutable, can be changed. Props are set by the parent and cannot be modified by the child component, while state can be updated by the component itself. Understanding the distinction between props and state is essential for building interactive and data-driven React applications. Props allow components to receive external data, while state enables components to manage and respond to their own internal data changes.